We got a letter from a local preschool congratulating us on our new enrollment. We didn't sign up for anything. The student's name? Our son's. The address? Our house. The contact info? A number we didn't recognize. When we called it, a woman answered and said, "He deserves a better start than you gave him." I thought it was a scam. But when we went to the school, our son was on the wall, in a family photo, with our neighbor's face photoshopped over mine. We live in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. It's one of those places where everyone waves, people still hang flags on their porches, and nothing much happens. At least, that's what I used to think. I've lived here my whole life. So has my wife Jenna. We met in high school, got married young, had our son Caleb 5 years ago. I work from home doing logistics stuff, basically making sure trucks don't show up empty or late. Jenna's a nurse, works nights at St. Mary's Hospital. It's hard sometimes, but we make it work. Caleb's everything to us. Smart little guy. Always reading, asking questions, building things with his Legos like he's training to be an engineer. I'd do anything to keep him safe. About 3 weeks ago, we got a letter. Not a bill, not junk. It was bright and shiny, covered in cartoon animals, like something out of a daycare catalog. It said, "We're so excited to welcome Caleb to Little Sprouts Preschool. His first day is coming soon. Get ready for a great start." I was confused. We hadn't signed Caleb up for anything like that. He was already in a little pre-K class at the local community center, just a few hours a week. Nothing fancy. I asked Jenna if she signed him up for something new. She shook her head. No. Why? I handed her the letter. Her face changed. She stared at it like it was a bomb. "It's got our address," she said quietly. "And his full name. But the contact phone number wasn't mine or hers. It was a number we didn't recognize. And the email listed was even weirder, some random Gmail address, brightfuturemom82 at. That's when things started to feel wrong. We figured it was a scam. Maybe someone collecting data, trying to get parents to click a link or give up info. I called the number just to be sure. A woman answered. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "Hello? Hi, yeah? We got a letter from Little Sprouts. It says our son Caleb is enrolled, but that must be a mistake." There was a pause. "You're his father?" she asked. "Yeah. Who is this?" Another pause. Then she said, "He deserves a better start than you gave him," and hung up. I sat there holding the phone, not saying anything. I looked at Jenna. Her face went white. She stood up fast, like she needed to move before she exploded. "This is not right," she said. "Someone's messing with us." She was right. But it wasn't just someone messing with us. It was someone trying to take our son. We drove to Little Sprouts that evening. It was almost 6, and the place was closing up. We knocked on the glass doors until someone finally came, a woman in her 20s wearing a school hoodie. She looked surprised but opened up. We told her what happened. She took us inside and pulled up the registration records. "Yes, Caleb's fully enrolled," she said. "Everything's here, emergency contact, medical info, even a family photo." My stomach dropped. "A family photo?" Jenna asked. She led us down a hallway lined with children's drawings. At the end, there was a "Welcome New Families" wall with framed photos of each child and their family. And there was Caleb. Grinning, dressed in the green sweater Jenna bought him last Christmas. Jenna was in the photo too, smiling. But standing next to them, with his arm around her, was not me. It was Suzanne. Our neighbor. She lived right across the street. Early 40s. Divorced. No kids. Always. Just popping by. Always trying to offer us hand-me-down toys or clothes she picked up from garage sales. I thought she was just lonely. Turns out she was watching us. Plotting something. And now, she had photoshopped herself into a family picture with our child. I felt sick. Jenna grabbed my arm. "We're calling the police." And that's when the real nightmare began. The assistant director, or whoever she was, looked shaken when Jenna pulled out her phone and said we were calling the cops. I don't blame her. You don't expect a screaming match in a hallway full of finger paintings. She asked us to calm down and wait in the office. We didn't. Jenna called the Cedarburg police from the hallway. I could hear her voice shaking, but she stayed strong. I just stood there staring at that picture, trying to figure out how deep this went. How long had Suzanne been doing this? When the cops showed up, we explained everything. They took it seriously at first, said they'd need to speak with the preschool director, who had already left for the day. But they assured us it would be investigated. That night, we sat in our living room, Blinds drawn, every light on. Caleb was asleep upstairs. Jenna didn't say much. Neither did I. Then around midnight we saw headlights. Suzanne's car, pulling into her driveway. I went out. I don't remember deciding to. I just stood up, walked out the door, crossed the street. She was getting groceries out of her trunk like nothing was wrong. Hey! She turned slow. Like she knew I'd come. Oh? She said. Hi there. What the hell are you doing with my son's information? She smiled. Smiled. Like it was a joke. I thought you might be upset, she said calmly. But you don't understand. Caleb deserves more than you two can offer. I can give him structure, education, emotional stability. I took a step closer. You are not his parent. You're not anything. She tilted her head. Not yet. That was it. I lunged, didn't even think. My hand slammed into the trunk lid and groceries went flying. She screamed and backed away. The porch lights flicked on across the street. Jenna ran out and grabbed me. We didn't touch her. But the damage was done. The next morning, we got a visit from Child Protective Services. That's when it really hit the fan. Someone had filed a report against us, anonymous, of course. Said we were neglectful. Unsafe. Said Caleb had been left alone while Jenna was at work. Said I drank too much. That there were concerning noises from our house. They said they had to investigate. Jenna cried after they left. Not because of the threat, but because she felt violated. Someone had looked through our life and twisted it. We knew who did it. But proving it? That was harder. Suzanne was smart. She never said anything threatening in texts. Never left fingerprints. The school records were all properly filled out. Fake but convincing. It looked like a normal enrollment. But then we got lucky. The preschool emailed us a scanned copy of the family questionnaire. One of the fields asked about parenting goals and family history. Suzanne had written paragraphs. Stuff like, Caleb needs boundaries and purpose. His current caregivers are overwhelmed. I intend to provide a more stable future. That was our proof. Not legally airtight, but enough to push back. We brought it to the police. Brought it to CPS. I even printed it out and handed it to our lawyer. That's when we decided we weren't just going to stop her. We were going to ruin her. We thought having that questionnaire in hand would be enough to shut her down. But Suzanne wasn't backing off. If anything, she got bolder. The police said they'd look into it. CPS said they'd monitor the situation. But weeks passed, and nothing happened. She still lived across the street, still waved from her porch like nothing was wrong. One morning, Jenna came back from a night shift and found our mailbox open. Inside was a laminated sheet of paper. It was a child development checklist. Things like, can your child tie his shoes? Or, does your child show empathy toward others? All of it was filled out, again, with Caleb's name. At the bottom, she had signed it. Suzanne, guardian. Jenna didn't even bring it inside. She handed it to me through the screen door with a look I'd never seen on her face. Not sadness. Not anger. Disgust. She's not just delusional, Jenna said. She's documenting. Like she thinks this is real. We made copies. Called the police again. Called CPS again. Filed for a restraining order. Still, nothing stuck. They said it wasn't direct enough. No threats. No harm done. I started watching our cameras every night. We had a doorbell cam, one above the garage, another pointing toward the backyard. I checked them like clockwork. Then one night, I caught something. At 3:12 a.m. The side gate creaked open. A figure slipped into the backyard. Wearing a hoodie. Slim frame. Suzanne. She didn't try to break in. She didn't take anything. She just walked around the perimeter of the house. Touched the windows. Paused under Caleb's bedroom window. Then left. I saved the footage. Called the cops again. They came. Took a report. Told us to keep our doors locked. That was it. We knew we had to do more. I started digging. Deep. I looked through old court records, public archives, anything I could get my hands on. It took a while, but eventually I found something. Back in 2012, Suzanne had filed a petition to foster a child. It had been denied. Twice. Reasons were sealed, but I'd pulled the names of the case workers. Jenna called every single one until one of them finally cracked. She had issues with boundaries, the woman said over the phone. She got too involved. Tried to correct the child's background story. Claimed the biological mother was unfit. It got bad. That was enough for us. We went public. Jenna posted on a Cedarburg Moms Facebook group. Shared what we could without getting sued. Talked about the school photo, the fake number, the late-night visit. People responded. Some knew Suzanne. Some had their own stories. Turns out she'd done this before. Not to this level, but close. She used to volunteer at a daycare. Had to stop after overstepping. Started showing up at a single dad's house offering parenting help. Someone said she tried to take a kid out of Sunday school without permission. It all came pouring out. Now we had a different kind of power. Community. I printed flyers. Just facts. Her name. Her photo. Do not trust around children. I left them at churches, schools, gyms, anywhere I could think of. I made sure to use public spaces. No vandalism. No threats. Just truth. People stopped talking to her. She got dropped from her book club. Her mailbox was egged. Someone put a giant sign in her yard that said, "Not his MOM." She tried to call the police on me for harassment. Didn't work. Because then the school finally stepped up. After pressure from parents, they released a public statement. Said an individual fraudulently enrolled a child using forged documents. Said they were working with authorities. Said they would be pressing charges. Suzanne disappeared for a week. When she came back, her windows were covered in foil. Her bushes trimmed down to nubs. She walked with her head down. I thought we had won. But I was wrong. That's when we got the letter from her lawyer. The letter came in a thick envelope, hand-delivered by a courier. At first, I thought it was another stunt. But when I opened it, my stomach dropped. A lawsuit. Defamation. Harassment. Emotional distress. Suzanne was suing us. According to her lawyer, we had destroyed her reputation. Spread lies. Endangered her safety. She claimed I physically threatened her, said Jenna and I had organized a smear campaign. She even listed the flyer I made as evidence of a malicious campaign to isolate and humiliate. It felt like a punch in the gut. I'd spent weeks trying to protect my family, and now I was the one being dragged into court. Our lawyer wasn't thrilled. He told us we should have stopped at the police. That the flyers and the Facebook posts crossed the line. That even though the truth was on our side, the way we went about it could hurt us legally. Her behavior was dangerous, I said. He nodded. But you didn't let the system handle it. I was furious. The system didn't do anything. Not until people started talking. Not until we forced them to act. If I hadn't fought back, she'd still be slipping around in the dark, trying to take my son from me. Still, we had to face it. Court dates. Depositions. Bills. The stress was crushing. Caleb didn't understand why Mom and Dad were always on the phone, always in meetings, always upset. He started having nightmares. Started asking if someone was going to take him away. That broke us. I lost sleep. Jenna lost weight. We fought too, over dumb things, big things. The pressure was getting to both of us. But we didn't back down. Our lawyer pushed hard during discovery. Demanded phone records, medical files, everything. And that's when things turned. Suzanne had been on anxiety meds. Strong ones. She changed prescriptions right before she started her obsession with Caleb. And her own therapist had warned her, in writing, to avoid intrusive behavior around children. We got the notes. Subpoenaed. And we got access to the original Photoshop files. She had dozens. Not just with Caleb. Other kids. Other families. It wasn't just obsession. It was illness. Deep, dangerous illness. Our lawyer countersued. Claimed emotional trauma. Endangerment. False reports. The judge threw her case out. And she was ordered to pay our legal fees. She didn't have the money. Her house went up for sale 2 months later. Rumor was she moved in with her sister downstate. Last we heard, she was on a registry, not for crimes, but for restricted access around minors. It's not what we wanted at first. We just wanted to protect Caleb. But by the end, we realized something else. We changed too. I wasn't just a dad working from home anymore. Jenna wasn't just a nurse trying to hold things together. We were people who had seen evil up close. And we didn't flinch. But we did pay for it. Even now, people in town talk. Some say we went too far. Some say we saved others from something worse. Some cross the street when they see me. Others shake my hand. That's fine. I know what happened. I know what I did. And I'd do it again. Because no one tries to steal my child and walks away clean. Not in this town. Not on my watch.